Hey guys, this is me, Kevin Murphy, on my channel called Narcissistic Abuse, Learning Who I Am Again. In this video, I want to talk about how going no contact is a natural consequence and not a punishment of the narcissist. So, I have gotten some questions about how, um, survivors talking about going no contact or trying to decide whether or not they're going to cut their family of origin off who were toxic or narcissistic, or cut off a boyfriend or girlfriend who was toxic because they don't want to feel like they're punishing the the narcissist. And I'm going to tell you something. You going no contact is not you punishing the narcissist. You going no contact is a natural consequence for their behavior. It's a natural reaction based on the abuse and the things that they've put you through. So it's just like when we go out and we decide that we want to rob a liquor store, or we go out and we decide that we want to rob a gas station. Natural consequence is that we're going to go to jail for doing those things. So it's the same thing with dealing with the narcissist, that there needs to be deal breakers. There needs to be natural consequences for when these things happen. And like I've said in other videos, that the narcissist does not like taking responsibility for their behavior. They don't like consequences. They don't like anybody checking them on their stuff. But that's just the nature of the beast. Like, if you are in a situation with a narcissist who's abusing you, who's mistreating you, who is doing things that they that have that are hurting you, you need to either cut them off or go low contact. But there has to be some change that comes on your part, the survivor's part, and not depending on the narcissist to change. So I'm going to share with you guys something that has happened to me, kind of an aha moment for myself, and things that have helped me recover as a survivor. So my whole immediate family is narcissistic. So my mother, I grew up with a narcissistic father, and my mother is a codependent, and my grandmother is narcissistic as well. And I really believe that my aunt and my uncles, they're also narcissistic. So for many years throughout my parents' relationship, my mother never held my father accountable of any of the things that he was doing. So my father would treat my mother like crap a lot of times, for whatever reason, and she would always accept it and accept it and accept it and accept it. And it wasn't until she deteriorated mentally as a result of, her abuse, and as a result of things that she went through, she wasn't able to, she let him get away with a lot of un, un you know unacceptable behavior. So I grew up thinking that it was normal to treat your wife or treat your significant other the way that he was treating her when he would get upset with her. I thought that it was normal to call your spouse or your significant other names every time you got into arguments with them. And it wasn't until I had to get away from that situation, I had to break away from all of that mess, in order for me to realize that no, that kind of behavior is not okay. I can talk to my significant other, I can talk to my partner, I can talk to my wife without calling her a bitch, or saying that she's stupid, or saying that she's not worthy, or attacking her self-esteem. And so I grew up with that template, and feeling like I have to call my wife or call my girlfriend nasty names in order for her to understand me, or in order for her to love me the way that I want to. And the sick thing that the narcissist will do, the narcissist will hurl insults and hurl all kinds of crap at you just to see how much you can take. Because this proves that you actually love the narcissist and that you actually care for them. It's BS. It's all a game. It's all manipulation. It's all abuse, and that is the deal breaker. When you have a man calling, as I said in the previous videos, if you have a man calling you out of your name, if you have a woman putting her hands on you and destroying your things and keying your car and breaking out all of your windows, that is not normal. Deal breaker. You need to cut that relationship off. Same thing with a man, throwing his woman's clothes out the window and kicking her ass and things like that. That is not appropriate behavior. It is not the way that two adults should operate in a relationship when they're upset with each other. So what I had to realize is, in order for me to heal, and in order for me to get myself together, and in order for me to experience real inner peace, I had to break away from all of that. I had to break away from that toxicity and relearn how to operate properly in relationships with people. I had to relearn how to operate when I am upset with a friend, or I am upset with a girlfriend, or when I do get married, I need to learn what real conflict resolution is. And narcissistic people are so socially inept. They are so inept when it comes to dealing with conflict resolution. They don't deal with conflict resolution. They sweep it under the rug. They expect for you to just take their BS and to not question anything about it. And so that's pretty much what happened in my household. That there weren't any civil discussions. There weren't any, um, you know, I, I disagree with you on the fact that I have to come home and do the dishes when I come home from work, or I don't like the fact that you're sleeping in. Every Saturday. It makes me feel like you don't want to spend time with me. Things like that. Because by you using I statements, you're saying I feel, and things like that. You are taking ownership of your own feelings. But the narcissist doesn't know how to do that. And it is not our job as survivors to teach the narcissist how to cope like an adult. That is their responsibility. That is something that they're supposed to learn how to do on their own. I don't care if they had a rough childhood. I don't care if their mother was a drunk. I don't care if the mother was abusive or narcissistic herself, or the father was abusive, or the father was a drunk, or the father was a drug addict, or anything like that. As adults, we have to we have to take ownership and responsibility for what has happened to us. And we do it in many ways. I've done it through counseling, I've done it through religion, I've done it through having a relationship with God and actually really honing into the things that I've been through. And I don't use it as an excuse. I don't use it as a crutch. I don't say, well, my childhood was bad, or my childhood was dysfunctional, so I'm going to treat you like shit, or I'm going to treat you poorly because I feel the need to release the filth and release the anger and the anxiety and the pain that's in me, because that's essentially what the narcissist does. That narcissist does not like the stuff that's inside them. So they need to find a scapegoat. They need to find a target to unleash all of that filth and nastiness that's in them. And instead of them going and seeing a therapist, or using healthy ways to release that anger, release that negative energy, they will do it in ways they will do it in ways that will destroy the target. And so If you find yourself as a target or know someone else who's a target, but mainly you find yourself as a target of a narcissist, you need to leave that relationship and not feel guilty for doing so. It is a natural consequence that you are pulling yourself away from that dynamic. It's a natural consequence that they have to reflect on the things that, because by you staying in a relationship with someone like this, you're not helping them. You're not loving them. You're enabling the behavior. You're sending a message that it's okay for you to treat me this way. You're you're sending a message that you don't love you. I don't love myself. So I love being being mistreated. I love being taken advantage of. And you have to get out of those kind of relationships. You have to find out what your deal breakers are. And in order to find out what those deal breakers are, you have to spend, that's even more reason to get away from that narcissist and spend time alone and spend time reflecting on yourself. You might feel alone. You might feel like you have no support. You might feel like, you're in this all by yourself because that parent didn't nurture you properly, that boyfriend or that girlfriend wasn't the person that you thought that he or she was going to be. And those things hurt. I totally empathize with those things. But it's when we spend that time alone. And for me, it's when I spent that time with God and I spent that time by myself that I started to realize who I was. I started to realize that I wasn't alone. And I started to really tap into what my deal breakers are. I'm not going to put up with someone calling me names. I'm not going to put up with someone destroying my things. I'm not going to put up with anybody throwing my clothes out the window. That's an ultimate deal breaker. And there's no I'm sorry. There's no I won't do it again. There's none of that, because I am secure enough in myself to be alone. I'm secure in myself to know that this is unacceptable behavior, and I'm secure in myself to know that I rather be alone than to be with someone psychotic like this. And I have enough wisdom to realize that if I stay in a relationship like this, I'm not helping them grow. I'm not helping them be their best. I'm helping them stay stuck in their own dysfunction, and I don't want any part of that. So you have to, as a survivor, choose to not remain stuck in the dysfunction. You didn't. These people were dysfunctional before you met them. These people were dysfunctional before you had any kind of dealings with them. So you did not bring on the dysfunction. Therefore, you can't fix it, and it's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to make this person love you. It's not your responsibility to make sure this person goes to counseling. It is not your responsibility to fix their inner childhood wounds or try to make them accountable or confront their narcissist or confront their own personal demons. It's not your responsibility to do any of those things. So rest assured and be confident in knowing that you have a responsibility to yourself. You have a responsibility to get the help that you need, to get the nurture and to give the nurture to yourself that you did not get as a child. Because when we start demanding and putting certain expectations on our wife, our friends, and people like that, we are acting like the narcissist. And that's how the narcissist is birthed. The narcissist has all of these wounds and all of these traumatic scars, and they are expecting other people to put out their fires and to fix those scars and to fix those things for them. And it's not our responsibility. So this was a quick video on um, it's not it's we're not punishing the narcissist. We're simply, it's a simple natural consequence. It's not, we're not doing anything to try to punish the narcissist. And that's also a form of projection, because that's how narcissistic people act. They project their stuff, and they project all of their pain and all of the things that happen to them, all the things that happen to them onto you. So they would do it out of punishment. They would cut you off or discard you or go no contact with you to punish you. So they're assuming that you're going to do the same thing, and you're not. So don't feel bad because you're choosing to go no contact. Don't feel bad because you're choosing to say no more to the abuse or no more to the toxic behavior. Just look at it as, I am looking and focusing on getting myself healed. I'm looking forward to getting myself together. That I'm not trying to punish the narcissist. I'm not trying to make that narcissist karma, give that narcissist karma or anything like that. So I hope to see you guys soon. I will probably come out with another video sometime before the week is over. I hope you guys have a nice Tuesday, and I hope to see you guys soon.